Does anybody know who Willie Lynch was? Anybody? Raise your hand. He was a vicious slave master from the West Indies in the South. His methods were very simple, but they were diabolical. Keep the slave physically strong, but psychologically weak at first hand. Keep the body, take the mind. I and every other professor on this campus are here to help you to find, take back, and keep your righteous mind. Because obviously you have lost it. That's all you need to know about me as long as you get on this channel. Let's move on. Good evening to all of the subscribers on YouTube and all of the followers on Instagram. My name is Sterling Still, and I will be giving you my affirmative as to why you should watch The Great Debaters with Denzel Washington and directed by Denzel Washington. Before I begin, if you are new to this channel, don't you forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below, whether it's good or bad. But if you don't, keep it to yourself. And most importantly, watch and pay attention. And if you're watching this on Instagram, you do the exact same thing. If you're on Instagram, you follow, you like, you share, you comment on whatever good or bad you have to say, whether it is for or against the affirmative. So poet and Professor Melvin B. Tolson teaches at the predominantly black Wiley College in 1935, Texas. He decides to start a debate team, something nearly unheard of at a black college during its time. While he butts heads with the influential father of one of his best debaters, eventually he is able to form a team of strong-minded, intelligent young students, and they become the first black debate team to challenge Harvard's prestigious debates. All right, that's what I'm talking about, everybody here. Now, The Great Debaters tells such an efficient and excellent story, untold story, about how African Americans were able to use their voice in ways that the average black man would have never thought of during that time. When you usually watch a historical biography, you already know what to expect from when it comes to racial inequality and how things were in the South during the 30s, 40s, and 50s. All we see when we watch these types of movies are the white people being more superior individuals next to the Negroes, who are fighting hard for their freedom because their lives depend on it. The Great Debaters might not weigh heavily on much graphic brutality or racism like what is seen in most of these films, but it offers the audience and every Negro citizen in the South the chance to feel hopeful and dignified due to opportunities that are given to black people. The fact that the Wiley College debate team were coming on top in an era where the Negroes were voiceless, or before the Civil Rights Movement with Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and many, many more, is actually an effective prerequisite to things like protesting and the March on Washington. I have a dream. Now, the Wiley Debate Club starts out with a tryout session before having 4 official members. They might be debaters now, but it is the stepping stone of how they specifically aspire to be something greater. One of my students, James Farmer Jr., Samantha Booke with an E, and Henry Lowe with an E, would start to develop and embrace the true meaning of using your words as a weapon. And that is what this story is about. That is how it's crafted. It's about using your words as a weapon, the power of words. And the only person who can make using the power of words as uplifting and universally present is Dr. Melvin Tolson, when he is played by Denzel Washington. Okay, all right, okay, I see. Denzel Washington, all right. The way that Denzel makes this character essentially solidify within black history, despite the fact he is not really a civil rights leader, is one that deserves a lot more respect. He and the success of Wiley College more or less laid the groundwork as to how the African Americans got the courage to fight for racial equality before Martin Luther King or any other civil rights leader started taking stands with the public. James Farmer Jr. is a student who has knowledge planted into him by his father, James Farmer Sr., played by Forrest Whitaker. And this helps him to become so much of an asset, whether he is the one doing the research or doing a debate. Either way it goes, his research is impeccable. Samantha Booke with an E and Henry Lowe with an E have their own goals and paths they want to pave, and no matter what they pursue, their attempts to use the gift of freedom of speech to their full advantage will not go fruitless. The Great Debaters was such a well-deserved revelation for the more significant events in Black history, whether it is speaking or marching or just racial equality in any and all places. Whether you want to see this film as a prerequisite or just its own thing, it is a film that should never be overlooked. There is an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes as far as The Great Debaters go, but I, for one, give it 9.6 SOs out of 10. All right, that's what I'm talking about, everybody. Yeah. 9.6 SOs out of 10. You hear? That is a lot of money, okay? That is almost enough to get you a scholarship to pursue, to go after higher competitions and debates, and to continue to use your words as your greatest weapon. But that is my analysis on why you should watch The Great Debaters and why I highly recommend it. And I highly recommend that you take an affirmative on something to help speak the truth of it, to not just support what he is saying. Because who is the judge? God. Why is he God? Because he decides who wins or loses, not my opponent. Who's your opponent? Again, I say, who is your opponent? He doesn't exist. Why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth that I speak. Yes, that is it. Okay, that is right. Y'all ready? You're ready for the finals? You're ready to go up against... You're ready to go up against Howard and Morehouse, Howard University, against the prestigious students in the same debate club. Class dismissed.